Hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming along. This is the book ritual. This is a special chapter that I wrote this year called In Memory of Absent Friends. To give you a bit of a feel for what the book... Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot I should begin with this announcement, which is that I would like to begin by acknowledging that Freeplay hosts and broadcasts from the stolen lands of the Wurundjeri and Boon Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, where stories have been shared and games have been played since time immemorial. Freeplay pays respects to elders past and present, and to anyone watching who has a connection to the world's oldest living culture. Sovereignty was never ceded, and the violence of the colonial project is still going on. So thank you everyone for coming along. Great to see you. I can see you all in the chat, so I will be keeping an eye on the chat during the performance. So this is the book ritual. This down here is Shredwood 3, accompanied by, I think that's Shredwood 1 over on the left-hand side, and then the two Shredwood Juniors on the side. We've got a whole little family of paper shredders. The book ritual is a game. It's a kind of story game, which is told using what you see on the screen in front of you, but also using these interactive paper shredders. So at times during the story, the player will be asked to tear pages out of a book and put them through the paper shredder. Now today we're going to be playing online. I've written this new chapter to be played online on a stream, and you are all invited to bring books of your own. So if you haven't got a book with you and you would like to join in, find yourselves a book. It could be, could be an old one, could be a new one, second hand, brand new, whatever. Whatever book takes your fancy, as long as you are happy to write inside of it and, of course, tear it up. So I'll be paying attention to the chat. I'll be doing the instructions in my book with you all as well. So if you don't want to damage a book of your own, you can just type into chat and I will write your messages in my copy of The Phoenix and the Carpet. The Phoenix and the Carpet was my favourite book when I was about 10 or 11. And so a lot of very strong, beautiful memories of this book. This isn't actually the copy that I had when I was 10, because that is still at my parents' house, being well looked after. This one, of course, will be well looked after in a different way, because it's going to contain all of our loving and heartfelt messages. So without further ado, get yourselves a book. Come and join in, get yourselves a book, or get ready to type into chat, and I will type in your messages into the book. This is the book ritual in memory of absent friends. My friends, both of flesh and of paper, we are gathered here in remembrance of a fully functional, modded paper shredder and a good friend. His name was Shredwood 2. So at this point, the game asked me to shred a page, and the story won't continue until I've torn a page out of this book and put it through this paper shredder. Which advances the story on. Many of you who have joined will be humans who have brought books, like myself. And to those humans I say hello. Hello all of you at home. And many of you are books who have brought humans, like this copy of The Phoenix and the Carpet who has brought me. And to you books, I say hello. That's good to see your hellos in the chat there. So if you have a book at home, if you have a book at home and it's telling me that something's blocked in the sensors, so I need to pull that out. There we go, that's normal. I'm glad I put that warning message in. So if you have a book at home, feel free to when you tear out pages, you can tear them up into little bits. Or you can just dump your pages on the floor in front of you, and by the end of the experience you will have a sea of pages littering the floor. Now, my name is a phoenix and the carpet. Let's start by taking note of all the books who have gathered today. Could the books in the audience please type their names into chat? So, if you have a book with you, then hello Robin, welcome to the book ritual. And I've noticed that my thing hasn't scrolled to the bottom, so I'm seeing some more lovely messages from you all. Thank you all for your very lovely words. There we go, I can scroll down and see it properly now. So, if you have a book with you, then let me know its names and I'll make a register of who is present here in the Phoenix and the Carpet. So, what's that called? I guess it's a register, isn't it? Let's call it books who are present. Now, obviously, we've got the Phoenix and the Carpet, but if you have a book at home, type its name into chat, and I'll add it in here. So there we go, we've added the Phoenix and the Carpet to the register. Let's, if you do have a book with you and you would like it to be memorialized in this copy of the Phoenix and the Carpet, just let me know its name in chat. There is a little bit of a delay between me doing this and it appearing on the screen, so I will give you a little few moments I'll give you a few moments to type in. If you have a book that just wants to come and spectate, doesn't want to be torn up, feel free to just tell me the name of that book that you're spectating with, and we can add it to the register as well. So I'll give you just a minute or something just to type these in because of the brief delay, and then I shall move on. Aha! So we've got the first one, The Weight of Our Sky. I don't know what the book is, but it's a beautiful title. The Weight of Our Sky. Fantastic. So we've got one book that's Hello, The Weight of Our Sky. Welcome to the stream. And Games and Culture Volume 2. Games and Culture Volume 2. Let's add it to the register. Welcome to the stream, Games and Culture Volume 2. And then we've got the Moby Dick audiobook, who I assume is just spectating. Although I guess if it's like a tape, you can, maybe pull tape bits of the reel out as we watch. Unless, Moby Dick could be spectating. But if it's participating, yeah, I mean, if you want to, and it's an audio tape, feel free to find a way to do it. Maybe pull the tape out and stuff. So we've got The Alchemist is The Alchemist is spectating, and so is House of Leaves. And I do love that suggestion of deleting snippets of the book in Audacity. I wonder what you'd create with, like, as a soundscape. House of Leaves and The Alchemist. So if more books arrive during the course of this, we can always add them to the register. So if new people join in, or if people who haven't got a book yet decide to get a book, just let me know and I'll add their names in. Here is the page being shredded, and And because I didn't have focus, it got ignored by the game. If you are playing at home, this is the time where you, along with me, tear a page out of your book and dispose of it in a means that you feel is proper. There we go. Remembering a lost shredder may be a sad experience, and you may feel emotional. You are all invited to write your feelings into your books as you go. Let's pick out another page from here and put it through this shredder. You can also tell my human friend Alistair, that's me, you can tell Alistair your feelings, and he will write them inside of me. And when we tear out a page here on the stream, please tear out a page at home. I had forgotten that the things that I'm telling you to do, the book in the text also tells you to do. But that's me. I can't anticipate what a book is going to tell me. They are beautiful autonomous beings after all. So, let's begin by thinking back to the objects that we've lost. Picture that object you've lost in your mind's eye. So I'm thinking back, you know, when you ask me this question, the first thing I think of is a watch that I lost a few years ago. It was a present from an ex-girlfriend's parents many years ago. That it was a very nice watch as well, and yes, I think I lost it. Like, I think I left it in a hotel room. I'm not sure. I might have like dropped it on the beach or lost it in the hotel room while I was away on a trip. And yeah, that was quite a big thing to lose. Wow, well done, Chad. Well done on ripping a page. And feel those emotions. Feel what it feels like. Just experience it. You know, sit with the feelings. So once you have a clear picture of the object in your mind, draw it in your book or describe it in the chat for Alistair to draw. So I'm going to draw my watch, but while I'm doing this, you can type into the chat the things that you've lost, the objects that have gone missing. So this is the watch. I'm trying to remember like it's hard to get the dial right, and maybe I've drawn it a little bit small, but it had these kind of ridges coming out of it. It was all metal. It was this, I mean, it wasn't silver or anything, but like it was this beautiful metal watch with a metal chain. It was kind of like sturdy looking, but but like still that looked kind of fancy and elegant at the same time. So yeah, and I guess I'll draw it with a broken strap because I might have left it in the hotel, but I did call back to ask, and you know, they didn't pick it up. So I assume that I must have dropped it when I was out on the beach or out for a walk or something. So that, let's get this chain in. Actually, I'm quite pleased with this picture of a watch I'm managing to draw. So yes, it's so yeah, that's where the strap, I assume, broke, if it broke. Hello George, hello Sydney, thanks for coming along. So here's my watch. If you do have any anything that you would like, any objects that you've lost, tell me about them and I can add their pictures to this book as well. Let's add a little bit of light and shade to this. So yes, this watch, it was a really, yeah, like I said, it was a really lovely watch. It was from my ex-girlfriend's parents. I mean, they weren't ex-girlfriend's parents at the time they sent it to me. But it did have a kind of, I think the fact that it was from them was kind of a part of what made it special. Because like, it was one of these things that it felt like, you know, they kind of trusted me, that I was you know, that I was a trusted boyfriend, that I was you know, becoming a part of the family. And that's what it kind of represented to me, which is why I was quite sad when I lost it. So we've got, wow, we've got a beloved children's book, which was lost at the airport. A pink teddy bear brought to school for show and tell, and it disappeared. Oh god, I mean, that was one of the, I'll be honest, I still have bad dreams where I've brought in a beloved teddy bear to school and it goes missing. So, like, that's, I can feel that pain. And a padlock that you'd had since you were 4 or 5 and you don't know where you lost it. That's a really interesting, like, can you describe the padlock? Like, what color was it? Or was it metal? Was it plastic? Was it like, yeah, describe it. Because I think, like, it's interesting. Let's draw this children's book. So I'm going to imagine, I'm going to give it a spine. But yeah, I mean, a padlock's an interesting one because you can, I don't know, like a book has characters in it, and you know, a teddy bear is a character, but a padlock is just an object, and you know, what things does a 5-year-old, you know, have that they need to lock up, you know? But like these objects have a kind of power to them, you know. There is something mysterious and beautiful about a padlock. I don't know, to me, like, picturing myself as a child, I would have viewed a padlock as something sort of from the adult world. And it would have, you know, had a kind of mystique around it as a result. Small metal, brass-coloured, with a steel lock. Okay, so let's draw this. So I'm going to draw a little flower on this children, some legs on that teddy bear. There we go. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, I can feel like, you know, that must be crushing. I guess often when you're a kid, you know, you bring something into show and tell because it's one of your favourite things as well. You know, it's something that you feel very attached to. So, God, that must be, yeah, that would be, I think I would have been pretty devastated if I was a kid, and I'd probably be devastated if I was an adult. Like I've still got my favourite cuddly toys from when I was little at a kid's house, and oh god, I would be at a kid's house, at my parents' house. I think I'm thinking of myself as a kid, so I've still got my little, it's a quite big cuddly Sonic the Hedgehog and Tails at my parents' house, and yeah, I would be really upset if anything to happen. Like, that's the kind of safest thing. Oh, the first video game you made, a Pikachu pocket watch. What else? Croc for the PS1. So I'm going to draw these. I don't think I'll have time to draw all of these in, but I will come back to your next things as we go on. But let's get this brass padlock in. There we go. And what did you say? Stainless steel lock. And you still have the keys. That's... There we go. I've got a grey pen here for the stainless steel lock. There we go. I think I've got... let's... Pikachu pocket watch as well. I'll just put in a little Pikachu pocket watch because it's too adorable not to. I'm going to imagine it's one of these things on a little metal chain. I may be drawing this completely wrong, but there we go. I don't know where the face would go on a little digital pocket watch now. So I may have drawn something completely monstrous, so if I have, I apologize. Oh, all the movies you made as a kid. Oh god, I know that feeling. I know that feeling of having, like, I wish I hadn't deleted that, but it's that, yeah, the thing, like, I guess where you feel like you've outgrown something and you're embarrassed of it, and then you get a bit older and it's like, it's no longer embarrassing, it's fascinating, but now it's too late. So where do you think that object is now? If that object could go anywhere in the world, where would it choose to be? So, I mean, have a think. We can include the pocket watch in the Croc game and the movies as well in this. So where is your object? Where do you think it would like to be? I think... So I'll see if I can... Where did I draw my watch? There we go. It's somewhere in here. I can't remember where I drew my watch. But that's okay. I'll just draw its magical world here. Next to all of these cats. So where do I think my watch would like to be? I think my watch sees itself... It would like to be a jet setter. You know? It was because it was a fancy watch. And to me it represented going up in the world. So... I think it would want to be in, like, an airport. You know, it would want to be on an airport, you know, getting ready to pack away on some fantastic trip. So here's a plane taking off. Some fantastic trip. I think it would want to be going somewhere sunny. But, like, for a conference. You know, I used to wear this to, like, business events. And so part of growing up in the world was also, you know, my career taking off as well. So, where would be a nice sunny place to go for? I guess Melbourne. Melbourne would be a nice place to go. I've never been to Australia before, so let's draw sunny Melbourne, which I don't actually know what it looks like. So, I'll draw, there's an airport taking off from the airport window. There we go, and in the background, I guess it's got skyscrapers, and I assume it's near the sea. So let's have some tall skyscrapers. And it will be a perfect clear blue day, because of course it is. It's an idyllic vision of the future. So it would be a beautiful blue sky. So the bus driver kept the Pikachu pocket watch and gave it to a kid. Oh, that's really sweet. Like, the pocket watch gets to be enjoyed by someone else, I think is a really sweet, imagined future for the pocket watch. That's a really lovely thought, I like that. So I'm going to draw this, a hand passing down the pocket watch to the hand of a small child. The padlock has dug itself down into the soil, hoping to be found by a metal detectorist. So I'm not very good at drawing hands, so this child's hands might look a little bit strange. But there we go, and here is an adult hand with thumb and forefinger passing. It just about looks like a hand, but it's passing down the Pikachu pocket watch, which I'm imagining as a kind of digital watch on a kind of metal chain. That might be what you have in mind. If that's the case, I do apologize. I guess I'll have to take a bit of artistic license. Ooh, or is it one of these things, does it like open with a clip? So it's like Pikachu's little face, and then it's got like a couple of clips that thing. So we've got the book got picked up by another kid at the airport who enjoyed it as much as Helen did. The padlock dug itself into the soil. The pink teddy bear would be in a kid's bedroom, loved and looked after. That's really sweet. I love these ideas. These are really, really heartwarming. So here is little Pikachu with the little red cheeks. It's got brown tips on its ears, doesn't it? Pikachu. There we go. And finally, Let's see if I can find a dark enough pen for... I might have to improvise and give it... I hope the colour doesn't come out funny, but here are 2 little eyes and a little happy Pikachu mouth. And there we go. So there it is. Hopefully you can see that Pikachu being handed down. And let's have the padlock under the soil. And feel free to draw these in your own books as well. So here we go. And I like the idea that the padlock is going to be someone's treasure, you know? That's a really sweet idea. I really like that. Padlock is somebody's treasure. And a metal detector up in the top, going off and making beautiful musical notes as it detects the presence of the padlock. I guess they have kind of curly wires coming off them into someone's hands. The pink teddy bear. Did I miss you? Oh, sorry. You would want Croc to be the home of a little kid like you were, so it could still shock and amaze. Yeah, so let's have... I mean, what if this was the same little kid? What if it was all the same little kid who now has... Or maybe... Well, this little kid shares it with their friends. You know, they share between them. They share the Croc game, and they share the... I can't remember exactly what Croc looked like, so I'm going to have to draw a generic happy crocodile. Croc had a rucksack. That's what I remember of Croc. So, unfortunately, I remembered that a little too late into drawing that game. But there's a happy little Croc on a TV. I'm going to go to an old school TV with the little antennas on top. And Croc with happy eyes. And there we go, and some teeth. And so a kid with the little pink teddy bear being shared by the collective children of our imagination, I guess, aren't they? There's a little thing that's a TV, and the book, of course, is here as well. This well-loved book with a beautiful flower on it. And there we go, in this idyllic kid's bedroom. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. So there we go. We've got Croc, we've got the little teddy bear, we've got the book, and we've got the metal detector detecting the padlock there. These are all lovely. I love all of these. These are really sweet ideas. I mean, the idea that they all go away to find new children, I think is just a fantastic, just lovely sentiment. So, onwards to the next page. So feel free to tear out a page from your book with me. So Shredwood 2 was just a paper shredder with a face drawn on, just like these ones here. But to the books and shredders who live in this workshop, he was an adventurer. And there is Shredwood 2 getting packed off. You can see a little banner in Shredwood's mouth there with German text on it. That's because he was on a trip to Germany. So he's all packed up and ready to go off. All the equipment to go with him. And business cards and stuff like that too. There we go. Shredwood 2 was a shredder who went to America and Korea and Germany. This is a shredder who went on a lot of lovely trips. So this was me and Shredwood 2. This was at the Amaze Festival in Berlin 2 years ago. And a lot of people came. Like they switched. They had like the event opened at 11 a.m. and stayed open until like 4 a.m. For like 4 days in a row. So by the end of the festival, like the pile of shreds that got made was absolutely gigantic. It was lovely, like really, really fun. And when he came back from his trips and emerged from his suitcase, he'd tell of all of us books about the adventures that he'd had and the friends that he'd made. So here are some of the books that people made at one of the exhibitions I took the book ritual to. So I remember Shakespeare books being particularly popular, so we had some quite fun Shakespeare-looking faces. Like adding a face and arms and legs to the book is part of the experience. And the shredder isn't biting. I think I might need to fold this one in half. There we go. And... one time, he was supposed to fly to Berlin, but he went on the wrong conveyor belt and went to Vienna by accident. But he found his way back. This is a true story. I was really worried when Shredwood 2 got lost on the luggage rack. So I was very pleased. They delivered him. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to make the event in Berlin. But he did get delivered direct to my door when I got home. So that was a relief. In early 2020, he was packed up for one more adventure. Far away, sent in a parcel. He was well looked after and met a lot of curious art fans and strange machines. So this was the second trip he went on where I put him in, I didn't go with him. So he went to Korea without me and got looked after by the people at Out of Index. And this was an event in Belgrade, right at the beginning of the year, where he met, there was other alt control contraptions and stuff there. It was really quite exciting looking. After the exhibition, he was packed up and sent home. But he never arrived. I remember how we waited at the door, how the postman would come every day and we hoped he'd be carrying a big box with our mechanical friend in it. But he never did. Have you ever just waited for something that never happened? How did you feel? Pick a page in your book and cross out the words except for the ones that remind you of how you felt. So, a time where I just waited for something that never happened. I guess the big one for me from this year, and feel free to let me know in the chat what your ones were as well, and but the big one for me was Christmas this year. Last year was an exhausting year, and for me, going home and visiting my parents is something that I find very relaxing, very warm and cozy, and I always look forward to Christmas because I have a habit of overworking myself somewhat, and it's good to go back to the place where it's calm and cozy and quiet, and you kind of realize that you don't need to be constantly kind of working, producing, doing stuff all the time, where you can just sit back and enjoy time with your mum and your dad and your brother. And last year we couldn't do it because Christmas was in lockdown. And I remember the day where we made a decision as a family, because eventually I said, okay, you can go down just on Christmas Day, those are the official rules. And we made the decision as a family, look, we'll have Christmas apart this year. And I remember how that felt. Unwilling, the word there comes up. I didn't really want it to be that way. With a bang, felt like this big impact, like a bombshell had just been dropped, like that thing that I'd been looking forward to was just not going to happen. Everyone climbed out. Just this feeling of, we all, because my parents and my brother all felt the same way, but it was something we all had to do, and we had to just, leave behind this idea of what Christmas was going to be. This year it's just not going to happen. We're going to have to leave the world where Christmas is going to happen. So I see darkness. Darkness, suddenly the world felt less darkness. That kind of glow of light at the end of the year was gone. Closed. It felt like this opportunity for something exciting, something warm and important to happen was now closed off to us. Seeing some very strong words taken, suspended, disappointed in the chat there. No one. I mean, I did have friends down the road who I went to spend Christmas with, but, in that moment when you kind of missed out on that opportunity to spend Christmas with the people you were really excited, that you've been looking forward to this whole time, and it feels like you're all alone, and you're going to be all alone over Christmas. Crossing out these words until I find something. Little. Felt small and vulnerable. Scared like a child, And I'm not scared, but just like small and alone, I think that's what it was, wasn't it? Like small and alone. Tiny. Stop. It's like that. I guess it was important because there was a time when I was supposed to stop and rest. And that was gone. Stop and rest. An image that had once been brightly coloured. Dull and weather-stained. Sad. It's just come up. Lonely. Worry. I think I was starting to worry, is this going to be forever? Kind and good. I mean, it was the right thing to do. And I guess I also started to rethink about, well, what is Christmas going to be for me this year? How I'm going to show myself kindness. And how can I show other people kindness? Bring other people warmth this Christmas. And there we go. I finished my page. Unwilling, with a bang, Everyone climbed out. Darkness closed. No one. Little, tiny, stop and rest. An image that had once been brightly coloured, dull and weather-stained. Sad, lonely, worry, kind and good. So there we go, that is how I felt at that time. We were supposed to be a family. All of us books and all of us shredders. Now one of us was gone forever. Tell me, have you ever struggled to accept that things will never go back to the way they were supposed to be? Ever thought things will never go back to the way they were supposed to be? I remember... Oh, thank you very much, Chantel. Thank you. Struggled to accept that things will never go back to the way they were supposed to be. I remember leaving university and, like, I finished my degree and going, like, leaving university and going back to live, well, I was living with my parents, so they live out in the countryside where it is quiet and there's not a lot going on, which is something I love now, but back then I just left this exciting world of stuff going on and it was like, well, now I've got to, you know, it's like, now it's quiet, now there's nothing going on, I, you know, kind of felt isolated, small, you know, I had to make this, figure out this, I was going to try and, you know, make a career as an indie game developer, and so I've got to figure out this all on my own now, you know, there is no set path anymore, I can't just knuckle down and do the work, you know, this is something where I could work at really, really hard, and I might get absolutely nowhere, and I might be stuck here out in the countryside forever. So yeah, and I really missed university. So I'm going to put that down. I really missed university. All these people milling around, all these things going on, all these exciting things to be a part of. All these friends, and also the sense that, you know, if you plugged away, if you put in the hours, then you would get the reward, and that I could just continue on my whole life just by working hard. And now I was going out into a world where that wasn't actually the way it really was, you know. Sometimes you work hard and you don't get that thing that you're working really hard for. And that was like a big change, a big upheaval in the way the world was supposed to work, you know? We were a family, but now one of us was gone. Missing in some unknown customs warehouse. Never switched on. I find myself asking if a shredder who is never switched on is even alive. If he's not switched on, how would he even remember us? That object that you lost, how would it feel about not being able to see you again? About not being able to come home? There's my watch, and like this was the watch that was, you know, that was me, you know, I with my girlfriend's family, girlfriend's family treating me like I was part of a family, and this lovely expensive watch that I was going to take to all these big fancy events, and it was like, this is the future, and I think this object would be like, it was missing out on my future. We were supposed to be buddies together going on an adventure, and it was missing out on growth, missing out on all the new adventures, missing out on all this world travel, missing out on, being with me on my arm as the big important moments in my life happened. I think that's the big one. Missing out on the big important events. I think that is the thing that it would feel saddest about, that kind of sense of just not being present, of being isolated, like the world going on without you. I think that's what the watch would feel. It would feel like the world is just going on without it. And that can be quite a crushing sentiment, To us, Shredwood 2 was an adventurer. He travelled the world to bring people smiles. He approached total strangers with a smile and helped them to connect to their feelings. The whole game of the book ritual is about doing activities like this with a book in order to connect with your feelings. Your feelings about loss and sadness, perhaps even grief. And he does that with a smile on his face. Shredwood 2 sat with them while they poured their hearts out. When they needed to cry, he gave them space and let them. Shredwood 2 was a good person. Well, he was like a good person. He was an object, but he was a good listener. And listening is a thing that a person does. When you lost your object, what about it did you miss? For me and my watch, I think what I missed was that connection. It was that connection to... It was my girlfriend's family. That... because we'd broken up, long before I lost a watch. But that, the memory of that connection, because they were a lovely family. She was a lovely person, and and this remnant of that, this memento, to her and to the people I'd met through her was now gone, and that, I think, was why it was sad to lose that watch. It wasn't because it was an expensive watch. I think the same would have been true if it was a cheap watch, but it was the fact that this watch represented the connection not just to my girlfriend, but to her world, which had been a lovely world. So I'm going to put that down. What did I miss? I miss the connection to her world, her family's world, and her friend's world. We miss Shredwood too, like one would miss a person. Surely, in some way, he must have been more than just an object. Shredwood too was alive in the eyes of the people he touched. He lived in the smiles that he created and the impression he gave of someone who would listen and understand. Shredwood too set us an example for us to live by. He taught us to accept loss and change and decay. Shredwood too showed us how to let go of material things. He showed us how to let go of words and messages and voices. Do you have anyone in your life who has influenced you through their words? Someone who has lived through a message they taught or an example they set? So I was thinking about this before the stream, and the name that springs to my mind is Eddie Izzard. I've never met Eddie Izzard. I've never even seen her live shows. But I'll tell you, Eddie Izzard. So she's a stand-up comedian from the UK. And Eddie Izzard, I saw... So my dad's a big fan of her work. And he had all of her, VHS tapes. And I remember watching them as a teenager and finding them hilariously funny. But the thing with Eddie Izzard is, it was right after I graduated from university, and I was going, I'm going to go out into the world, I'm going to make a name for myself as an indie game developer. And I saw this documentary about her, and it was basically just, her about her early career, before stand-up and everything. And there's this story where she ties, she did a lot of street theatre stuff. She had no training in it. She just went out and did it, which I absolutely love. And then there's this story of her, she decided one day she was going to do an escapology act. She was going to tie herself up in ropes and padlocks and stuff and then escape. But she'd never done any escapology before and not been trained or taught or anything. She just decided to go out and do it. And she ends up standing in the middle of some street in London, tied up, unable to get out of these ropes and padlocks, and going, alright, what now? And this was her whole, that fearlessness that says, I don't need to know how to do this. I will learn how to do this in the moment. And if I don't learn how to do this, I'm just going to figure it out. I'll figure out something. And I find that fearlessness is just so inspiring, and it's something that I've kind of carried with me. I heard it at the perfect time as well, right at the start of my career, and it really, really left an impact on me. If a paper shredder can show people an example of how to live, maybe a paper shredder is no different to a person like Eddie Izzard. So I'm seeing some lovely sentiments here. One of Helen's mentors back in Perth, Chad's auntie. It's a really lovely setting. unafraid of taking risks, gentle, empathetic, selfless. It's a beautiful, I think, important virtues to live by. Look around you. All of these paper pages at your feet. All of the wispy shreds in front of me, down here by the shredder. All of these memories. Pieces of a book. Pieces of a story disconnected from the whole, but still with something to say. Maybe a book doesn't have to be complete to still have meaning. Perhaps even a single page, detached from the book it was written to be in, still has meaning. Maybe even this copy of The Phoenix and the Carpet, with half the pages torn out, still has a story to tell. Shredwood 2 is gone now, lost in a customs warehouse never to be switched on again. But his soul was never powered by electricity. His soul is in the hearts and memories of the people that he's touched. He is connections he's made. He is the experiences that these people have taken away with them. Everyone who has felt they have learnt or grown by playing the book ritual has shared a piece of Shredwood 2's soul. I wonder where the soul of a paper shredder lives. Maybe it lives in the electronics. Maybe it lives in the cardboard casing. Or in the big paper eyes. Remember back to your earliest happy memory. Tell me about it. What do you remember? So the earliest memory I can remember is Christmas Day from when I was about 4. And this is maybe why I have such a big important connection to going home for Christmas. Maybe that's why it was such a big deal for me. But Christmas Day, 4 years old, coming down the stairs and seeing full Christmas stockings, presents under the tree, and the light. We always used to leave. It was a drop of the hard stuff. I never knew what the hard stuff was, until later. I think it was brandy. The brandy was gone. The carrots were mostly eaten, and the mince pies that we'd left out for Santa were gone. And it was like this magic thing. It's like, oh my god, the magic has happened. You know, and you still feel a trace of that magic in the room. You know, Santa has been, and he's left you presents, but like, he was there in the room, and there's still that excitement, that fizz. Santa has been in the air. So I am going to write the words. So Chad's happiest memory is playing on a Commodore 64 at 4. That's lovely. That's really nice. So I'm going to write down here, Christmas Day at age 4. I'll write Santa's magic still lingers in the house. I remember that, like, this really, really happy day. I do notice that I have gone slightly over time now. I think there are about 10 minutes left in the ritual, so just to let you know. So Billy Dent, earliest memory. It's in their old backyard at 2 or 3 with a large honeysuckle tree. I love the smell of honeysuckle. It's a really lovely, like, whenever I pick it up, like there's honeysuckle at my parents' house. There's honeysuckle just down the road from me, and when I pass it and you get like a big blast of that smell, it is a really kind of smiley smell. It just makes you want to smile. Chantal's dad gave them their first book. Started their session with fantasy and writing games. Sumala sitting in the high chair in the family living room. That's amazing. Being able to remember back to being that young. That's really amazing. But it's amazing to remember that, yeah, God, we were all so tiny once upon a time. So since that memory, every single cell in your body has been replaced. But the happiness is still a part of you. It has made you who you are. When your cells die, the happiness lives on, because it influences the new cells that grow. Perhaps the soul of a shredder is in the memories of the people who've played it. Maybe Shredwood 2 is alive. Not in a box in a customs warehouse, but in the tiny ways people's lives are just a tiny bit different from having met him. Everyone we meet leaves us a page or a shred of paper. Everyone we meet adds something to our soul. This is how we grow. This is how we become new people. Take the pages you have torn out and attach them to your book. Give it paper wings or paper legs, a paper tail, paper ears, paper horns, paper smiles. Let's turn our books into fantastical, beautiful creatures. Let's turn our books into something new. So, let's turn our books into a creature. I haven't got pages ready torn out of here. If you've been playing along at home, you may have a pile of pages in front of you, but I'm going to tear out some new ones. It's from random places in the book. Now, what should we do to this? Do to this book? I think I'd like it to have. I want it to have some like bunny ears. I think would be quite nice. Let's give it a nice big pair of bunny ears. So hopefully this will look right. If I see, it just looks like I'm doing. But these are the inside bits of the ears. These might end up being different sizes. That's okay. I think a bunny with different sizes of ears would be cute. So there we go. Let's cut out these ears. And feel free to add whatever accoutrements you like to your book. Whatever, as long as, you know, you just make it into a beautiful creature. Don't know how much like bunny ears these will actually end up looking, but the idea is there. And I've got some tape here. You know, tape or glue. Good. And I'm going to tape them like this. And then attach them to the inside cover. So there we go. We've got some bunny ears on our book there. I wonder what else we could give our book. Let's give it a pair of arms as well, so it can hug. So let's give it little hands for hugging. So let me know in the chat what body parts you are adding to your book. So there's one hand, and you can just about see it there. And oh, not the camera. You'll get to see the microphone. It's the inner workings of the Shredder studio. And here is another hand. There we go. And let's add that. This one. Add it on here and fold it a bit so it fans outward. There we go. Got two little arms. I think I'd like it to have. I think I'd like it to have nice big feet as well. So let's give it a nice, beautiful, big pair of feet with toes. So Chad's added feet and a little hat. Oh, that's sweet. I love the idea of a little hat. So it's a strange looking foot, but I think they're allowed to have strange little feet. And what else? Oh, well, it needs another foot. I'm not good at making feet with a pair of scissors, so I hope this book doesn't mind having unusual feet. I've got unusual feet myself. I've actually I've got webbed feet. Not massively webbed, but just slightly on the like the toe equivalents of index finger and middle finger are like kind of joined together part way for me. Maybe that's a bit of information you didn't really need. I don't know, but yeah, so in this way, the strange-footed rabbit book kind of represents me somewhat. And I think I want it to have wings, because I think it needs, like, a book should be able to fly into the future. So let's I'll give it nice. I'll see if I can give it, like, kind of butterfly-shaped wings, because I think that would be nice. The butterfly is a kind of almost cardioid shape, really, isn't it? So there's one wing. Well, I guess they look like big ears, but if I put them down at the back, that looks definitely like a wing and not an ear. Like a little rabbit book with butterfly wings, I think is quite a beautiful little creation, a little creature. I'm quite pleased with this. Maybe slightly different sizes, but that's okay. This is asymmetry is beautiful. So, I mean, the cover of the book's not symmetrical, so why should its wings be? So there we go. We've got. If I lift up the camera slightly, you can see it's got bunny ears, two lovely arms, two big bouncy feet, and a pair of butterfly wings, so it can fly around. I'm quite pleased with this little creature. It's quite pretty. So let's shred a page and move on. Get the mechanism to catch. There we go. Magic. I like to believe that none of us ever die. We live on as the wings and the tails and the ears and the horns and the smiles that we give each other. And those we have lost live on in us. By making us who we are today. Thank you very much for coming along. Thank you for joining in, for taking part, be it at home, in the chat, or simply by spectating. This game is called The Book Ritual, and the chapter that I wrote especially for the past year is called In Memory of Absent Friends, and I would like to quickly dedicate this performance and the game itself to those friends from my life who are now absent. And I send them all my love and my gratitude for the great things that they have brought to my life. Thank you very much. And thank you all very much for attending, for coming along, for taking part, for sharing in this experience with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm seeing your messages come through, and that's a really, really lovely messages. So thank you very much for sharing them with me. And I'm really glad you had a pleasant and meaningful time. And then I have to figure out how to wind down from here. Yes, thank you very much for coming along. Thank you for taking part. You can find out more about me and the work that I do on my website. Just Google my name, Alistair Aitcheson, where you can download the book Ritual for free, along with instructions for how to build yourself a shred word at home. And if you do have any trouble building a shred word, then feel free just to message me on Twitter. My Twitter feed is there. Anyway, thank you very much once again. I hope you all have a fantastic Freeplay event. There are further talks, performances, and other experiences going on for the rest of the week. So please do join in with them, take part. Have yourselves a fantastic day, a fantastic evening, a fantastic week. Look after yourselves, look after your other, and I shall see you all again. Bye-bye, everyone.